Hello, hello, hello. Assalamu alaikum. Ji ayanu, pakhair ragale, ni hao, chunashume, washmale, ohaya gozaimasu, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan wasalan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swabia, balli kare hain. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV World. You're watching World This Morning, alongside Shahzad Hasan Khan. Ladies and gentlemen, I actually wanted to say fantastic, but then I was like, okay, I think it's going to be self-praise as well. So let's avoid that early in the morning. So for everybody who's out there in 45 different countries, ladies and gentlemen, we hope and we pray that everybody is doing wonderfully fine and that you're good to go for the day as well. Today happens to be Tuesday. It's 15th of September 2020, where we see Pakistan, alhamdulillah, successfully coming out of COVID-19 as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that we really need to be thankful to Allah Almighty, and we really need to raise our hands and pray that, everybody out there is safe and sound. But not just that, ladies and gentlemen, eventually, since it's 15th of September, the kids are actually going back to school. I'm not really very sure whether the parents are very happy or the parents are a little sad as well. And it's because of the fact that when you have your kids around, ladies and gentlemen, for a moment, there is a time when you think that, okay, I probably need a break. But then there comes a time when you start to miss your kids as well. So for all of those parents who are out there, congratulations that, alhamdulillah, we are going to resume school now. And education, ladies and gentlemen, is a very important element in one's grooming. And not just that, I think that it creates a difference. If you're going to be in conversation with somebody who you think is educated, or for somebody who never went to school, the conversation will let you know how different it is and how different people behave. One who's educated and one who's not, unfortunately, because we do have a lot of children who are out of schools as well. We've been doing quite a lot of shows for them too as well. But ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to be honest today, and I think I'm very happy that eventually, alhamdulillah, Pakistan is getting back on track. And for all of those people who are out there who've contributed, I've been to different schools, I've been in conversation with different teachers, principals, school owners as well, and they have taken some strict, they have made some strict SOPs which are in place as well. But there's one more thing which I wanted to say, and that is that the 100% responsibility does not lie on the shoulder of the school management. I think that it needs to be, first of all, responsibility sharing, and the parents really need to put in a lot of effort as well. God forbid, ladies and gentlemen, if your kid is not feeling very well, if he or she is actually sneezing, if he or she feels as if that there's a problem with their health, please make sure that you do not risk anybody else's life by sending your kid to the school. Please, this is one thing which we really need to make sure, because over here in Pakistan we have this habit, koi nahi putar tanu kuch nahi hoya. So please, for all of those people who are out there, do not do this in this time as well. We really need to be sensitive. We need to feel for others as well. We need to feel for other kids. Teachers who are out there, please avoid touching the students, because teachers are always in a habit, because they think as if all of those kids who are in the school or attending the school are just like their kids as well. So please stop that. And I think that, while I went to the school, they've actually made sure that there are going to be proper masks. Everybody needs to wear masks, proper, printouts printed onto the walls, and not just on the walls, on the floor as well, where people need to stand. And then obviously they're leaving a chair and a table, and then so every kid is going to sit on the alternate next available table and chair as well, which I think is great. And going back to the school will actually help us kind of recover or cover up all of that syllabi which we have missed, because of the fact that for the last 4 months, ladies and gentlemen, we were in a lockdown. Not literally in a lockdown, smart lockdowns were introduced, and the international media, not just the international media, all of the countries out there, ladies and gentlemen, are actually kind of applauding the kind of management or the kind of SOPs were put in place, or the kind of smart lockdowns were put in place by our Premier, Mr. Imran Khan as well. What a visionary he happens to be. But not just that, ladies and gentlemen, today is one more thing which I wanted to talk about. Since it's 15th of September today, ladies and gentlemen, it happens to be the International Day of Democracy. When I was given this task to actually talk about this, I was like, okay, you know what, I really need to put in a lot of effort and kind of give something amazing to our viewers. Because for all of those people, we might know what Jamhuri Nizam is or what democracy is, but then, ladies and gentlemen, what are the requirements of a democratic system is something which we want to talk about. Since you all know that it's a morning show, we're a non-political show as well, so we like to educate, we like to highlight all of those issues which prevail within the society as well. So there are a few things, ladies and gentlemen, whenever we speak about democracy. First of all, this year's theme is Democracy Under Strain, Solutions for a Changing World. And it's because of the fact that during these COVID-19 times, we have seen that, that things have been really very shaky. And it is our responsibility, it is the appointed government's responsibility, or the people who've been elected by other people, it's their responsibility to make sure that they uphold the rule of law, or they probably make sure that, that every other business within the country is actually up and running, and that everybody's protected, and that everybody's property, everybody's land, everybody's protected, and they have this freedom of speech or freedom of expression. But then, ladies and gentlemen, I think that we get confused when we speak about freedom of expression, because hate speech, first of all, I don't really like it because of the fact that we, rather than making logics or logical points in making sure that, okay, this is what needs to happen, what we do is we end up in hate speech as well. And then, so obviously we have to control this hate speech element, making sure that controlling this hate speech element will not actually lead us to, getting rid of that freedom of expression, which we have by the Constitution as well. There are different kind of democracies as well, which we will be talking about, ladies and gentlemen. But I think that democracy is the way, and all over the world, that's what people think as well. We have a small report for you. Go ahead, take a look, and when you guys will come back, we will introduce our lovely guests over here in the studios, and we'll try to learn what democracy is and why is it so important for every country out there. Good morning.
The International Day of Democracy is observed on September 15 and is held on the same date every year. International Day of Democracy is an annual day that has been running for 10 years. It is a UN Day of observation. The purpose of the day is to review the state of democracy in the world and promote democracy and its principles. The day was founded on 20th anniversary of the first international conference of the new or restored democracies, which promoted global democracy. On the day, individuals and organizations of all kinds work together for democracy and hold events to raise awareness of democracy, including conferences, discussions, and debates, as well as press conferences and publicity campaigns through distribution posters and flyers. Democracy and economic growth and development have had a strong correlative and interrelative relation throughout the history. Democracy and human rights are closely linked. Democracy is a state where people have rights, especially to vote and elect their government and regulation among themselves, over whom they have no rights. Over discordancy, elections, or protests, lack of democracy can lead to the lack of rights or a voice, and this impact on human rights as set out by the UN.
Exactly, ladies and gentlemen. So we definitely hope that you've understood what democracy is and how it can be helpful for all of us as well. And to talk about all of this, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by a social activist, a human rights activist as well. She is Miss Maria Iqbal Tarana. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Alaikum salam, good morning. Thank you very much for inviting me to your show.
Thank you very much. It's our pleasure as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Wonderful to have you. But not just that, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to hail from a country where they say that the democracy has lasted longer than any other country as well. Ladies and gentlemen, he happens to be a representative of the House of Democrats as well. He's a politician from USA. He is Mr. Rizwan Ahmed. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Thank you for having me in your show.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you.
Thank you.
I hope that you do not have any unfulfilled responsibility back home, that you are here already talking about democracy. Wonderful. All right, because ladies and gentlemen, this is the beauty of democracy, that everybody is actually accountable for their actions. And I think everybody needs to get that right as well. And the conversation would have been incomplete because, as I said earlier in the introduction as well, that it is all about upholding the rule of law. It is all about freedom of expression. It is all about avoiding hate speech. It is all about getting rid of misinformation as well. So for that point of view, we actually wanted a lawyer who can actually speak about this as well. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a member of the International Bar Association as well. He is Mr. Shehzad Alvi Saab. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum sir, thank you very much for joining us. Wonderful to have you.
Thanks to you as well.
Jazakallah. So I'm going to get my conversation started with Mr. Rizwan over here. So sir, first of all, obviously we shared this report as well, so pretty much people know. It was back in 2007 that the United Nations Assembly was resolved, and the decision was made that 15th September will be the International Day of Democracy. Now, first of all, how would you highlight the importance of this day? And not just this day, democracy itself, please.
See, one of the example is my country, USA. What we are in US, like immigrants, or other countries' people, local people, blacks, African Americans, Hispanic, I mean, we all actually are very happy under this democracy.
Okay.
It's been almost 200 years, and when 200 years back, you see when this constitution been, you know, they wrote it, and they had added those clauses that they are still valid.
All right.
And it's still, that's why you see American economy, economy and democracy, you know, they go side by side.
Hand in hand.
And we see America is #1 country in the world, 17 trillion economy, because of this continuation of democracy.
Yeah.
You know, no military, you know, interference, things like that in America, you know, or anything, you know.
Yeah.
So America, you know, I mean, like myself, you know, Pakistani descent. When I was 21, I went to America, and I'm a small business owner. Then came in the politics, because you know, in Muslim community in America, they are actually slowly they are coming in the politics.
All right.
And I ran 2018 midterm election. Because of this democracy, they giving you opportunity there. And I got an opportunity. I ran against Republican incumbent Brian Avila. First time, if I would have won, I probably would be the first American Muslim candidate who won that office, you know, Florida House of Representative.
And that's the best part as well, ladies and gentlemen. I think that this is the beauty of democracy, that anybody from any background, from any ethnic background, without any discrimination, can be a member of the parliament as well. And I'm glad, I'm very thankful to Allah Almighty that, alhamdulillah, Pakistan is on the right track as well, and there's nobody who's intervening within that democratic process, which is great. But now, you know, there are a few things which I would love to talk about as well. What I did was, while I was preparing, so I wrote 5 merits and 5 demerits of the democracy. But first of all, I would love you to highlight the importance of this day, and sir as well, and then I'll move on to the merits and demerits of democracy. Please go ahead. What do you want to say?
That's very important, and thank you very much. It's a very important day as well,
Yes.
because it's a World's Democracy Day. And for me, democracy is a way of life, to be very honest. It starts from within you.
Okay.
Like, it gives you a good sense, like, of how to live, how to take care of your society, and look at the country, because we live in Pakistan, and it's such a beautiful country. We have a diversity in our ethnicity, in culture, and you know, there's so many things to talk about in Pakistan when it comes to multicultural society. So if we strengthen democracy in our own country, and if we give a sense to our future generation how important it is to ourselves and to our country. So I'm sure there would be a day when Pakistan will be flourishing and Pakistan will be moving forward, because every person will have this responsibility towards this country.
Exactly.
Because as a responsible citizen, we have to respect other religions, other cultures, and that's the beauty of Pakistan.
Exactly.
Because when you ask some foreigner what you think of Pakistan, it comes to their mind diversity, and that's a beauty. And I think it's very important, and I'm so glad that PTV has conducted this program, and I'm sure there's so many people, other people who will talk about Pakistan's
exactly, and we've been
democracy,
doing it for a longer period of time now, alhamdulillah. So we're glad that you've actually taken out time as well. Shahzad Sahab, I'm going to come on to you as well. Now, I think from a very macro level, I'm going to bring you down to a micro level as well, because I need to talk about things we do as a nation. I mean, we do not have a democratic household, but we want a democratic process within the governments as well, or the changing of the governments, or handing from one to another as well. Now, if I am going to ask you about having a democratic process within your household, is that true or not? Do you have a democratic process? Who's got this? Who's got the say at home? Is it your wife? Is it you? Because we do not apply all of that in our household, but we want the governments to do so. So please, let's talk about it. It's a morning show. We need to keep it light.
Yes. Now, democracy, basically, what I'll say that this is a definition of rights and the duties. The men in the early age, when you used to live in a stone age, that was basically the time of power. Who is the powerful? He has all the rights. He can do everything.
Exactly.
But when the men start living in a proper society, in a civilized way, the first thing which they adopted, that is the first and initial form of democracy, that this is the rights of the government and this is the rights of the people, and this is the duty of the government and this is the duty of the people.
Yep.
So in Pakistan, what I'll say, unfortunately, the system of democracy was not, I mean, smooth and the proper.
Unfortunately.
And unfortunately, whatever the circumstances, it's a different debate, you know. But for the last, I mean,
12
than 12 years, this process is, whatever in a condition, it's going on. And the important thing is that this is basically the prosperity of the Pakistan, and the Pakistan would have achieved, I mean, the awareness of the people, especially the development of infrastructure as we compare back to 25, 30 years back.
Exactly.
Pakistan is properly is prospering, and is trying to compete with the international world, and due to that democratic system, whatever in the condition, now the economic situation of our country is going better and better. First of all, what we'll see, that is the CPEC. It's a huge investment in Pakistan. And then with CPEC, the other investment from the different countries.
A lot of multinational companies.
And then coming time, almost like 20 countries will be dependent upon Pakistan, the Gwadar port.
Exactly.
This can only be happened, this can only be continued due to the democratic system. And so for the definition of democracy, what I'll say, there is always a constitution.
Yeah.
So what is the definition of constitution? That is a contract between public and the government.
Yeah.
So in being a lawyer, what I'll say, the major responsibility is the social justice system, and that can be implemented through the free judicial system.
Yes.
So what I'll say, if every person, he feels that he is the safe, he has the right to speak, to get his own right, this is basically the actual form of democracy.
Exactly, that's what it is. And I want to talk about this as well, because recently we have seen that there have been incidents as well where, you know, we really need to protect the property and the intellectual property, and, you know, otherwise as well, we really need to give it to the people of the nation as well. But before we do that, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to speak about the merits of the democracy, and you guys have to let me know whether this merit is on point or not. Okay, so that we make it easier for our viewers, so that they can understand as well. So the first one is, a democratic government is better form of government because it is more accountable form of government.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes, of course. Because once you have a one-man show, it will rip your institutions apart, and no common person actually take a part in building up a society, a constitution, or nobody can protect it either. So it's very important.
So you agree with this point?
Yes, yes.
Sir Rizwan sir, what about you?
I definitely agree. I mean, if you have this equality and the opportunity in that among the country, whatever country you live in, America, Pakistan, you are good to go, and you feel, you know, safe, secure. I mean, a lot of aspects. So I totally agree on that.
All right, that you know that the governments are more accountable, and that
definitely it's not
the
a one-man
process is
show.
very transparent.
Of course, of course. Okay. And I think Pakistan is the first Muslim country has democracy.
All right.
Right? You see all other countries, they don't have democracy.
Yes, the same what the counterparts have said.
But okay, now the only reason why I've written it as a merit is that, okay, this is something which a democracy should have as an element, as a characteristic of democracy as well. But unfortunately, what I've seen while growing up as well is that, you know, we kind of have this political agenda to it as well. We kind of want people to, you know, vote because of the fact that we did something to that person, or we did something to that person as well. So how are we protecting other people? Because democracy speaks about equality. Now, when we talk about equality, you know, there are a lot of accusations, there are a lot of allegations on people that, you know, okay, you know, this much corruption, they've been involved in this much and this much and this not. Now, the point comes down to the rule of law as well, where, you know, it is so hard for the people within the justice system to kind of prove that, okay, he, she is telling the truth or not.
Yes. See, the system of this democracy is basically depends upon that basic, element, that if any person feels that he has got this right, and he has been deprived from any other person who has not that right.
Yep.
So this is the question of right and the duties, which I have explained before. So the beauty of that democracy is that nobody can go, I mean, what we'll say, the soul of light, that he will decide and everybody is bound to follow that. It could not be happen in a democratic system.
Okay.
So the right and the awareness of the people regarding their right, as my learned brother have said that in USA, that's the beauty of the system. The system of the beauty of that system, especially, which I'll mention as an example of United Kingdom, there is no written constitution, there is customary law, and that is the beauty of that society, that everybody knows the beauty, they knows the right, what is which he cannot be deprived. And if he will be deprived, their system, their judicial system, their democratic system, their elected people, they will protest, they will defend him, they will protect him.
Exactly.
Especially the basic right, basic thinking of a normal person is that I should be protected by my wealth, my property, my life, my children, my education, my business,
my health.
So my health. So in fact, this system is the protection of a common person.
Exactly.
So this is the way of living. I mean, the system which we are supposed to adopt. So here in Pakistan, we know we have a lot of what I'll say the lacunas and the unfortunate some things that we say that this politician is not, I mean, he's a corrupt and he has deprived the nation and the normal people by using his power, unusually. So to raise the voice, to get their right, and to make them equal. This is basically a system, and this is the beauty of that system.
Exactly, and that's very beautifully explained as well. Before I move on to the second merit, sir, Rizwan sir, what I need to ask you is, now over here we see, unfortunately, this is a problem which we really need to kind of fight with as well, and we need to come up with solutions for it as well, where when we see that the bureaucracy or the people who are actually responsible to uphold the rule of law get political, how does it make sense to everybody back in USA? Do we have people who kind of get themselves involved into political issues as well, but it wasn't really supposed to be their forte? How do we bring about a change in a process of such sort where bureaucrats, where people or law enforcing agencies become more political rather than being more focused on what they are really supposed to do?
See, there is no such thing as you mentioned, bureaucrat. I mean, in USA.
Okay.
We never heard of. I mean, we don't know what are you talking about.
Okay.
In US prospect.
Do we have any civil service examination over there?
Civil service examination,
okay.
Yes. They have a local system. I mean, they work smoothly. I mean, no one interfere. Any branch of the government or semi-government involve or interfere to other branch.
All right.
So system, the way they set it up is so smooth and so strong that the common people in America, they feel so secured.
Wow.
You know, they don't feel like, even the grassroots level. I mean, you go any mayor office or something. For example, I mean, I built a mosque, Islamic center, in Broward County in Florida.
Wow.
Not me, but a group of
a lot of people.
But I was the one who found this because I'm in commercial real estate and all that.
Yeah.
So building a mosque in scenario of post 9/11, you can imagine how difficult it was, or it would be. So finally we built in 3 years, and we were dealing with the city government day-to-day basis. After we built it, we done. So we board members, we decided to donate $10,000 to city government. Just for appreciation, they help us out. Right. To the permit and things like that. So
rather we ask for money from the city government as
well.
So
I went up there
and
to present a $10,000 check. So clerk at the office, she said, how can I help you? I said, I'm from Islamic Center of Broward, Vice President of Islamic Center of Broward. I'm here to donate $10,000 appreciation for you guys. Help us out. She said, hold on, sir, let me talk to my supervisor. So supervisor came. He said, how can I help you? I said, we have a check for you. He said, for what? I said, it's just appreciation. He said, sir, I can't take this from you because if I take this, I might lose my job. And you know, I really appreciate that you are appreciating, but I cannot take this. So
Yeah.
this is the one of the example of the system that, you know.
I'm sorry, but I'll actually have to make sure that I say it over here that, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have so many creative ways of making sure that we are actually going to give something to somebody else. Oh, it's a gift, or, you know, it's kind of an appreciation. You know, ladies and gentlemen, one way or the other, if there's anything you're going to give back to somebody else within a government office, you know, I don't know whether it should be admissible or not.
The guy had no clue. The guy had no clue what it is.
Exactly. So he has no idea because he's never come across such a situation.
That's what I'm trying to make my point.
And yet again, over here we have a Pakistan back in USA.
I'm sorry to say that I would have been here if I would have gone to that place, you know.
Obviously, but since we're morning show, we need to keep it light. This one is interesting. But the other merit, ladies and gentlemen, which I want to discuss, obviously, is that within a democratic process, the decision making is very transparent. But before we speak about it, we actually have a small report. Thank you very much, Mr. Ali, for making sure that you're going to give us that time as well. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a report on International Democracy Day by Mr. Ali Andaz, one of my favorites.
The goals of peace, human rights and development can only be achieved through rule of law, and this can only be guaranteed under a democratic government. Democracy is the product of a strong, active and vocal civil society. Those who have it can vouch for it, and those who don't long for it. The UN General Assembly decided on November 8, 2007 to make September 15 as the annual day to observe the International Day of Democracy. It is a day for all governments to strengthen their national programs devoted to promoting and consolidating democracy. It's very easy for people who live in a free society to take their freedoms for granted. Yet when freedom is absent, life includes unimaginable challenges that are often incomprehensible. It is also a day to review the state of democracy around the world. Due to several factors, democratic values around the world are under threat. This further highlights the importance of the day. Democracy is inevitable if voices of citizens, dialogue and inclusiveness, accountability and political tolerance are close to one's heart. Our support for democracy stems from our core belief that democracy requires the participation of all citizens. It is an opportunity to highlight the important role of parliaments and to celebrate their capacity and mandate to deliver on justice, peace, development and human rights. This is Ali Andaz reporting for PTV World.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ali Andaz. That was a beautiful report. In fact, you've actually made sure that I do not miss out a point as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, obviously for people who miss out on having this freedom of speech, freedom of expression, or to live life the way they want, I think that they definitely know the price of this freedom and democracy as well. For instance, Kashmir as well. For instance, there's so many other places within this world where people do not have any rights as well. Right now, we're going to head out towards a short break, but when you guys will come back, we'll actually start from where I said that one of the merits of democracy is that the decision making is very transparent. Is it? Let me think. Take a break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PTV World, you watching World This Morning, alongside Shahzad Khan. Today, ladies and gentlemen, happens to be the International Day of Democracy. We are observing, we are celebrating, and democracy, ladies and gentlemen, is the way forward. But as a matter of fact, before going or heading out towards a short break, we were discussing on the merits of democracy. So one of the merits, which I think we need to discuss, is that democracy ensures transparent decision making. Let's see whether our guests over here are going to agree to it or not. Ms. Maria, what do you have to say?
Yes, it's very important actually. If you see our country, it's very important that constitution must be strengthened and the politicians must be involved in legislation.
I think that's what they're required to do.
They're required to do, not to do, because people have expectations. I don't know why this thing has come. It's confusing people actually between the politics and the development, because they say टूटी लगा दो, नालियां बनवा दो, you know, this is important, but it comes under the development and it has to do with something else, you know, but the politicians have to do their job, which is a policy making. That should be very clear. But in last 12 years, what we have seen in our country, people now they have started understanding actually what is the job of their person who they give a vote in their own constituency, what is exactly his jobs are. So in 12 years now we see like people have started understanding democracy, which we have not seen in past, because they had different expectations in past.
Well, I'm not really sure whether Mr. Shahzad is going to agree to it. I'm going to move on to Mr. Shahzad first and then come down to Mr. Rizwan as well. So do you think in the last 12 years, all the decisions which were taken were very transparent? Because we have been a democratic nation since the last 12 years without a break.
In fact, the decisions which were taken by the government, it was the best effort. I mean, if we compare with the past, I mean, what I'll say that in our legislation assembly in Pakistan, the people, they must be very educated, especially they must have the knowledge related to the law. As the madam has said, that normally people say that this is my MNA and this is my MPA, that he should go for the drainage system and the sewerage system. This is not the job of a National Assembly member and the Provincial Assembly member. His job is the legislation, to make the law, and the law based on equality. This is basically a job of the local government. This is the awareness, first of all, that people should have. And the second thing is that what you said regarding the democracy, in fact, if any country who has not the proper democratic system, and if the people started thinking that they are deprived by their rights, then the law and order situation becomes very worst. Because this is the human nature, that if a person started thinking that the state is not protecting his right, so he try to snatch his right by force. And this creates a big problem in the country and the system where the people are living. So the system with the proper law and the proper implementation of the laws is very important. Meaning thereby that is a social justice. And if there is social justice in the society, if every person is mentally, feels secure, then the system will be very smooth and the calm. And so far your question is concerned, but I'll come again. There are still loopholes. There are still lacunas. Which should be.
I'm sorry that I'm stopping you over here. Is it because of the fact that people within the assemblies, or the people whom we say are responsible for legislation and policy making, do you think that, God forbid, they do it on purpose so that they can actually make sure that they protect all of those people who are involved in these things as well? I'm an innocent guy just asking questions.
I'll give you a reference. When I started my law studies, the first lecture, on the first day, our teacher said, ask the question, what is the definition of law? There were different definitions, but the very interesting definition was by Aristotle, that law is made by superiors for inferiors. So we all started laughing. But nowadays, this is basically a new world, a new time, and that is the time of a media. Every person has the knowledge, every person has the right. Now this, what I'll say, that is not applicable, because the awareness of the people. Basically the right and the duties is the awareness. So what you said that, the problem everywhere in the world, so the people raise their voice to get the justice. And this is basically the best form of democracy. If the person knows his rights, then everything is okay. The problem is that the rights been snatched by the people when they don't have the awareness. As Allah Almighty said in the Quran, जानने वाला और ना जानने वाला बराबर नहीं हो सकते. They can't be equal. This is basically the principle.
And I think, ladies and gentlemen, as we move forward, since it's 2020 as well, I think everybody's got a lot of information to themselves as well, information bombardment. But then at the same time, obviously, more people are more aware of their rights as well. But now, sir, coming to you, it's a very tricky question, so you probably need 2 seconds or 5 seconds to think in the first place and then reply. Now, when we talk about democracy, when we talk about decision making, don't you think where you have actually claimed and you've said that that US is actually the oldest democracy which has existed, having the right to executive orders, don't you think is a slap on democratic process? How can you give somebody the right to have executive orders, kind of ignoring everything else within a democratic system, and then being happy with, okay, we are a democratic country?
See, the thing is, executive order is not only in US, even in Britain, in Pakistan, whole world, this is a part of democracy.
Yep.
And I mean, let me say a few words about when we were discussing about, I was thinking about East Pakistan. If we had the democracy at that time, the half of our country wouldn't be separated from us.
Exactly.
That's the beauty of democracy. They actually won the election in 1970. That's what I read.
Yeah.
They won in 1971, and we did not accept their majority.
All right.
And look what happened.
I wasn't born then, ladies and gentlemen, and sure. I wasn't really a student of history as well. But I'll get back to this.
Yeah, I born in 1969. But actually, I read it.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of democracy. I just wanted to mention this.
Okay.
As far as the executive right is, order is concerned, I mean, what can I say? It's everywhere, even in America.
What is gone is bygone, So I'm talking about having these executive orders, overruling each and everything or what the other person thinks and making sure that, okay, that this is what I want to get done. Okay, here's an executive order, get it done. This is not a democratic process.
But one thing is actually different than the other countries in America.
Sure.
If any American president uses it, then we have this judiciary.
Okay.
They actually always overruled it.
Okay.
2 examples. Recently, some immigration laws, that B2 visa or some, I don't remember exactly, he said is suspended or something like that. A few weeks later, we saw an order, overruled. So we don't have here in Pakistan that kind of laws.
Because we're only 72 years old. We're still in the process. We're going to come together. It takes a lot of force. It takes a lot of courage. And I think I'm going to thank Mr. Imran Khan as well for giving us this courage, the youngsters of Pakistan, this confidence that this is a place for us as well. So very quickly, what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to move on towards demerits, and let's see what are the demerits of democracy, whether democracy should prevail or not is the question as well. I had a lot more merits as well, but ladies and gentlemen, the conversation was so interesting that I kind of wanted to move on to the demerits as well. So, because we have a lot of people, it's a democratic country, somebody might like democracy, somebody might not. We need to give them their right of choice as well. So leaders keep on changing, which leads to instability. We have seen that for the last 12 years, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, it's a very unfortunate event over here. First of all, Mr. Yusuf Raza Gilani had to go, then Mr. Pervez Ashraf had to go, then Mia Nawaz Sharif had to go. Obviously, because of the rule of law was upheld, but then, the instability was there as well. So what do you have to say?
Yeah, of course. That's a major reason of instability, not only of this country. If you see across the world, you will see the countries who have not grown economically, or they couldn't move further. That was the thing, because the leadership couldn't perform, or either they were being removed. But when you say Pakistan, in last 72 years, we are just going through a different process actually. We have experienced each and everything. So now in 2020, actually our generation can say, okay, we have seen in 50s, there's 60s, there's 70s, there's, as he was saying
like
about
babies,
with the babies. And you know, it's very important. Every democracy has to go through 100 years of experience. So
Exactly.
we are only 72 years
Yeah.
old, baby. So we have 28 years
72
more.
years old baby.
28, 22.
Yeah, because we're talking about a country now, we're not talking about
the
babies.
babies.
So
So
I
we have
think
28
not a baby
years
anymore.
more to go.
Yeah, no, alhamdulillah,
So,
we're not a baby on an international map, ladies and gentlemen. This is one thing, and this is a stronger message which the world needs to know. We are babies for ourselves. You know,
Ourselves.
we want ourselves to be considered as babies, but yeah, please do not mistake us for anything else. We're not babies on the map. Okay, so one more thing, sir, which I think is very important to ask, and that is that democracy is all about political competition and power play, and there is no scope for morality. That's a demerit. Now, when we, I don't know how things are in US because I haven't really seen the process while I was there. But over here, I know for sure that over here in Pakistan, it's always a political competition. It's more about who's going to put in a lot of money. There's no morality, that's for sure. And I'm not even going to say that it's cutthroat competition because it's not competition. It's something other than competition. It's ego. It's egoistic. Okay, you know, I need to win. And people actually lose their minds, God forbid, if they lose over here as well. How does the process take place over there in US?
You see, my experience in America is...
How much did you spend on your electoral
I mean,
campaign?
everything is transparent in America.
Yeah.
I mean, they actually public it. Whatever you fill it, they go in the department, election department, and then they will public.
All right.
That I have 2 houses, 3 cars, how many, you know, how much money.
Yeah. If
whatever,
you're not going to tell
whatever,
them, they'll
whatever.
find
You
it
cannot
out
hide.
anyways.
They ask you last 3 years income tax return.
Yep.
And you can bull in income tax return. So everyone will know that who you are, what is your age, how much you're worth, everything. I mean, unfortunately not here. They are not that transparent. Over there, a lot of people, they don't go in politics because they have money and they don't want to declare.
Yeah.
And they know they're going to dig out election commission. As soon as you file, they're going to dig out like everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of people don't even
So
bother to even process. It's very transparent in America, and you know our process here. I don't want to discuss that. You know, everyone know.
That's what I'm going to move on to as well. Since it is International Day of Democracy, and I want my viewers to learn as well. Now, the sole reason why I actually posed this question to Mr. Rizwan in the first place was so that I can come to the way we do things over here. This is something, ladies and gentlemen, which I've seen over the years as well. That for somebody to run for a candidate is a rich man's job over here in Pakistan. You know, it's very hard and it's very rare that you see a very poor guy coming from a very poor background and becoming a member. Obviously, we do have examples of such sort as well. But why do you think we are losing morality? And I'm going to add to it as well. God forbid, Allah maaf kare. You know, whenever I'm in front of television, my father is very habitual of watching all of these infotainment programs. These politicians have no respect for each other. They're going to abuse each other on screen. They're going to blame each other. And I seriously do not like it as a young Pakistani. And it's because of the fact that this is the kind of concept we are sharing with the future generations. That they're not going to have any respect for any other political member of any other political party. Where is our morality? Where is our social norms? And democracy is one of those things where social norms or having these norms or culture is a characteristic of a democracy. So why do you think we are losing out on morality? Are we still very young babies?
Yes. What I'll say, you've got a very good question. In fact, the problem is that still we are not mentally free from the system as the British, which they have left. Okay. Still, we have to follow the police culture, the Patwari culture, and basically the distrust of the people on the judicial system, unfortunately, sorry to say.
Exactly.
The thing is that the people, they normally vote for the person about whom they think that he is a strong person, he can protect us. Maybe we'll go upon his house or the dera and he will make a phone call to SHO and the job will be done.
Yeah.
And so for a person, a young person, educated, well-mannered, but if he's not so wealthy, normal perception in the Pakistani nation is unfortunate that what he can do for us. We'll go to his house and we'll say that talk to Patwari and tell him, give him an order, and the Patwari will not follow his order or the SHO. This is basically the problem. Here the thing is, being a lawyer, what I'll say, if the judicial system is properly perfect, if every person started thinking that the justice is available on the doorstep, then this thought will be changed. Then the people, they will say that we have to elect a person who is well educated, who is well mannered, who is who will properly, fairly work for the people. He will not, just thinking about his own personal interests. So this is basically a reason where you said that we are the baby mean that still we are on a growing stage, that we are not so much mature as we give the example of the British people, the French, the Germans, and even if we'll say about the US, that is more than 250 years they spent a time, and now they have reached on a particular stage that they think that this is in our interest, this is in our personal interest, this is the national interest, this is the international interest. So still we are going on the path that we are getting that maturity, and that maturity will come through the media, especially the role of media, and then especially I'll appreciate the Prime Minister Imran Khan that he has given the thought after Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. This is my personal view. I'm sorry if somebody agree or not.
Sure.
That after Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, the Imran Khan is the person who started giving the awareness to the person, to the common people, that this is your right, and if you can, and you have to get this right by this way. As yesterday night, I was watching a program about the public hanging, the deceased, those people who are involved in the rape cases, especially with the child abuse. So this is basically the development towards the proper democracy.
Exactly.
So we have to follow these footsteps, and when we will say, we will think that the person must have the proper character, and he should be honest with the constituency, with the people, with the country. Then we can get the task, and we can compete with the modern world. If we still think that this person, he will make a phone call in the police station, if the thinking limit is this, then we can't compete with the US and the other modern world.
That's true as well. And ladies and gentlemen, I think that Mr. Shahzad over has actually made a very valid point as well. And we really need to make sure that the morality exists, ladies and gentlemen. We really need to make sure that we keep on talking about all of these things on television as well, so that, you know, for all of those politicians who are out there, first of all, so that they have respect for each other. When you see them on television, they might not be very respectful towards each other, but off screen they're very respectful. They're like, "Aaji Sadri, ke haal hai?" Everybody's fine. So I think probably that's the culture we need to see on screen as well. You know, so whatever the differences are, obviously those are political differences, and you know, every party has got their own agenda, and everybody has the right to differ to one's opinion as well. But please make sure that we do it in a very decent way, so that the future generations emerge in a nicer way as well. And one more thing, ladies and gentlemen, and that is that please make sure that you empower your household as well. Please make sure that, you know, democracy, ladies and gentlemen, as we say, is the way forward. Please make sure that democracy prevails within your household as well.
Definitely.
Sir, is democracy going to prevail in your household?
A little bit.
Sir?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yes.
I think it already exists.
Already.
What about you, ma'am?
Yes,
No question
I'm
about it.
Democrat as well. Yes,
I'm a common public in my home.
All right, but thank you very much for being
Thank
with
you
us. It
very
was
much.
lovely to have you over
Thank
here on the
you.
show as well, ladies and gentlemen. What a lovely conversation on such an important day, which was International Democracy Day as well. Please make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that each and everything which you can contribute towards the country, which you think that you have the power to, please make sure that you do that without a delay. Look after yourselves. Life is good, life is great. Seize the moment and make sure that you get whatever you want. Remember my team and our entire crew member in your prayers as well. Please make sure that you write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of World This Morning. On your television screens, on Daily Motion and YouTube, it's World This Morning without a G. On YouTube, it's PTV World, and then you look for the most viewed show, which is World This Morning. Alhamdulillah, shukr, alhamdulillah. Look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Good morning. Thank you.